Morning student, today I am discussing about how to set up a HTML form. Okay, so before the setup, I have discussed about the various input elements of the form tag in HTML. So now I am going to describe about the form setup. So first of all, we have to know the two property of the form tag, that is the method and the action. So what is the method? Method tells the form how to transfer the information for processing either in simple text or encrypted form. Okay, and it has two values, that is the get and post. So get, if we select the method is get, it is in plain text and that shows on URL, but if we select the method is in post, it is in encrypted format to send the data for processing. So we have to be select the firstly the method of the form. Okay, and then finally then go to the action. So action tells what should be taken when a user press the submit button. Basically the action button is related to the processing button. So whether it goes to the database server, whether it goes to the email, that could be defined in the form tag, that is through the action. So let's an example of the setup of a form, that is the HTML head, title, and then this is here you show that the form method is equal to double quote post and the action is equal to mail to. So we have to be write the mail to colon and then type the email address of that particular email address. Okay, and then close the form in the body and the HTML. Now, what are the different text box and text area input elements are used there? So for first of all, we have to know, as we know that the text box is a basic input element where we have to be write the single line structure. Okay, now if you have write the text box, then we should have to firstly use the paragraph tag, enter your name or something you want to display on the web page, and the input type is equal to text. And then we have to declare the name, and this is your name or what's why you want to choose to write here, and the size, define the size and the maximum length. As I already discussed about the size of the box and the maximum length, that is the characters are fitted in the text box. Okay, now this is also the father name is also in the input type, the text, that is all the text, and the address, basically address is a multi-line box. So we have to put a text area. The tag is the text area, and the name should be defined here, and the rows and columns should also be defined here, so that the area of the text box should be properly defined. And finally we have to write the wrap, so that at the end of the line automatically the cursor moves to the next line, and then finally close the text area and the form the body as well. So this is in this way we have here the use of the input type, that is the text and the text area, so that we can provide the user for the taking information of one line box and the multi-line boxes. Okay, now comes to the password box. So password box is another aspect of the input type because through which we can provide the user facility to feed their important crucial information in not in the plain text but in the bulleted form or the asterisk form. Okay, so we have to be write the input type is equal to double quote password, and the name should be, it could be anyone, and the size you could define the size and the maximum length that is attached with the that particular box. Okay, and then form close, body close, and HTML. Now checkbox, as we know that the checkbox is the facility through which a user can easily select the more than one element, more than one options. Okay, so for this we have to be the input type, that is the checkbox, and the name should be defined there, and the value is also defined there. So in this example there are the here I am just describing about the heading, that is select your favorite sport, and you have to be the option, that is the cricket, football, hockey, and chess. So from the checkbox input elements, that we have the option of to select more than one from the list. Okay, so the input type would be the checkbox. Okay, and then finally form close, body close, and HTML. Now come to the radio button. Radio button is the main important part, where we select the only one option through the list at a time. Okay, so if you want to suppose that if you want to give an example that how to rate this blog, and we have to select the good, very good, excellent, or average, then we should have to be define the input type, that is the radio. So here in the input type we have the is equal to radio, double quote radio, and name, that is the date. So name should be declared very common to all the input type radio that you have mentioned in the form. it should be keep in mind that the name should be same for all the input type. That is the good, very good, excellent, and average. What you want to be fit in the, what you want to be given in the form. And after that, the form will be closed and the body closed and the HTML closed. Now come to the selection menu, that is the drop down. If you want to provide provide a facility for the user to select the from the list, and then we should have to be input type, that is the select. So here the tag used, that is select, and we should have to be name defined, that is the city, and also this is an optional, that is the user to define the site. And then option should be here what you want to display in the list. For this, the tag is option, and we can write here that the option space value, the value Patna, Delhi, Mumbai, and these are the options that should be displayed on the drop down list. For this, we use the select tag and with the option tag. Okay, and finally we close the select tag, and in this way we have to create the selection menu. Now come to the last and final, that is the submit and reset button. As we know, the submit button is very important for processing all the information fed by the user for the processing. Okay, for this we create the submit button, and for this we have an input type, that is the submit, and the value should be also with the submit. And for the reset, we should have the reset input type, and the value should be the reset. And finally we should have to be close the form and the body, and finally the HTML. So we from this we can create the submit and reset button, through which we can submit all the necessary information to the further processing, and if there is some error in the form, then we can reset through the reset button. So I hope so you can understand very well through the various input controls by which we can create the form in HTML. Thank you very much.